So as you come into your comfortable seat, let your hands rest where they are most suited to you. Kind of palms face down on the knees is more for grounding. Palms face up, more for receptivity. Some people start their practice hands at the heart. Some people begin the practice one hand on the heart, one hand on the belly. Or you can rest your hands in your lap like this. Really make the choice that feels like it's yours for this morning. And then you can close your eyes. And bring some appreciation already to your efforts to be here. Yesterday, I was speaking about the building blocks of our lighthouse, or the building blocks of our ability to transcend up through the practice. And one of those is appreciating your efforts. Appreciating your efforts to be here and appreciating the efforts that you'll make on your yoga mat too. Before we can experience the fullness of the heart and the Brahmaviharas, if our life has had detours or derails, if we've had experiences of suffering, for example, or difficulty, then sometimes getting back to the basics to prepare the body and the mind for what is already natural in the heart, we come back to those basics and we develop the brain, body, breath, mind, and heart that can really be present to our natural state, not our distorted state, not the altered state of what happens when the nervous system is filled with angst, for example. So we begin with abhyasa, with the dedication, expressed as mental concentration. The word for that is dharana. So concentrate your mind into the present. And start tethering your mind to your breath. So the breath gives you that present moment, ever fresh experience. The breath just as it is. Not making a particular kind of breath right now. We step onto the mat, appreciating our efforts to be here. We hone the mind to be concentrated. And then we can set an intention for the practice. And my intention for practice this morning is that we get to explore this teaching called metta or maitri, means loving kindness, one of the 4 Brahmaviharas. Please join your hands together in Anjali Mudra. So we may have a preceding intention, an intention like, may my mind not get in the way. May I be receptive to the teachings or to the practice. May I find myself able to listen or be fully present. May I not succumb to my ordinary distractions. And therefore, can we experience metta or maitri as it's being taught this morning? So let's chant Asatoma Satgamaya. Om Asatoma Satgamaya Tamasoma Jyotirgamaya Mrityorma Amritam Gamaya. Om Asatoma Satkamaya Tamasoma Jyotirgamaya Mrityorma Amritam Gamaya Om Asatoma Satkamaya Tamasoma Jyotirgamaya Mrityorma Amritam Gamaya Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Shri Guru Pyo Namaha Hari Om. And you may bow your head to your heart. Release your hands. When you're ready to, please open your eyes. So we're going to begin with a little seated pranayama practice, and I'll just define for us this morning. Metta or mired is the practice of loving kindness, specifically towards someone from whom you feel you've experienced harm, or you've seen them, you have been notified of them harming somebody else. The 4 Brahmaviharas go to 4 different kinds of people. So compassion for those who are suffering. Right? That's where we can experience like this ability to sense their suffering and have a resonance with it and a desire to alleviate that suffering. So compassion, karuna, is for those who are suffering. Loving kindness is for those who are causing suffering, those who are causing pain towards us or towards others. Whereas appreciative joy, we spent time on that. It's this practice of extending like happiness for the happiness of somebody else's good fortune. And equanimity, I like to say, is for those people or situations that can't be solved. It's equanimity towards that which is kind of unmanageable in your mind. You can't bring it into focus. So you have to have equanimity for it. Otherwise, it eats away at you. So the first 3, karuna is for those who are suffering. Appreciative joy is for those who are having beneficial experiences. And loving kindness is for those who are causing suffering. So that's the basis of this particular practice, metta or mired. So to bring that quality into the heart, it helps if we aren't in the lower 3 chakras, we aren't sort of succumbing to the ways in which we shape or form the image of the other who is causing suffering. And one of the difficulties with that is that we recommend in yoga that we don't shape an image of the other. We see other also as something in ourselves. The seeds of behavior or thoughts or actions we see in them, we also try to see we have that potential in ourselves. So a second way that you can use mired or metta is practicing loving kindness towards the parts of you that hold you back or sabotage you or derail you, the parts of you that cause you suffering, the parts of you that make poor decisions because you're driven by something that is less than wise, for example. So keeping that in mind, please clasp the hands, push the heels of the hands forward like this. Now let's make the back of the waist broad as if you're doing kind of cat pose. You don't have to round the spine specifically, but make it a little bit broad. And as you inhale, press your arms forward. And then exhale, rotate to your right. Inhale, come forward. Exhale, rotate left. Really rotating the upper torso. Keep the base of the pelvis stable. Inhale to center. Okay, exhale to the heart. Squeeze the hands in. Open your chest. Squeeze the shoulder blades in towards the heart. And then inhale, take the arms up. Exhale, side bend to your right, keeping the lower pelvis stable. Inhale, rise up to center. And exhale, side bend to your left, keeping the pelvis and the lower abdomen stable. So inhale, rise up with stability in the lower portion of your torso. And exhale, push out. And as you press out, open the chest and the heart and clasp your hands at the small of your back. Roll the shoulders back, squeeze the arms back. And then exhale, rotate to your right, just the upper torso, like you're turning the lid on a jar. Inhale to center. Exhale to your left. Inhale to center. And then exhale, lean back, open your chest, your heart, and your throat. And inhale, rise up to center. Exhale your hands to your heart. So awakening the upper torso, the chest, the heart, and the shoulders. Now let's go down to the low belly and see if we can clear out whatever residue we came to class with. So you can rest your palms face down in your knees and come into your practice for Bastrika. Exhale completely. Now inhale slowly from the base upwards into the heart for suspension. And then exhale slowly and smoothly and completely. At the end of the complete exhale, totally relax the belly and the torso. Observe the next breath coming to breathe you. And now we'll do Bastrika again, a little bit quicker pace. So placing your attention at the solar plexus. Exhale. Inhale to suspend. And exhale completely. Again, slowly and completely, smoothly. At the end of the exhale, you're going to be toning the lower belly, and then you relax the low abdomen, and the next breath comes to you. And then Kappalabhati. So we'll do through the nose. It's a little bit faster yet again. Let's begin. Exhale completely. Inhale to suspension. And then exhale completely and smoothly. Now just having a little body memory of what the first practice was like. We're going to repeat it and see if, having cleared out this region of the body to some extent, is the upper torso more free to experience its own mobility and flexibility. So clasp your hands, push the hands forward. Now using the Ujjayi breath, inhale. Exhale right. Inhale center. Exhale left. Inhale center. Exhale pull in. Inhale hands forward and up. Exhale side bend to your right. Inhale. Exhale side bend left. Inhale rise. Exhale push out. Using a smooth Ujjayi breath, interlace your fingers and squeeze the arms and shoulders back. And then exhale, twist right. Inhale to center. Exhale, twist left. Inhale, center. And then exhale, lean back. If possible, the knuckles reach the floor. And inhale, rise up, hands to the heart. So having the lower abdomen, so from the diaphragm down, having this region of the body be healthy, clear, unhindered, mentally, physiologically, psychologically, like digestion, endocrine, all the things. We hope that this stability in the first three chakras energetically, but also in the physical body, yields this opportunity for opening the chest, heart, and shoulders. Now we're going to come up to standing. We're going to be using the prostration practice again. So let me switch my camera and we'll come up to standing at the back of your yoga mat because we're going to start from the standing portion of the prostrations. So when you come up, and I'm going to ask you this morning, hi little plant, I'm going to ask you to put your feet together in Uttanasana. So place the feet so that they're touching each other, which is going to be a little bit different for you. So doing your best there, feet together, join your palms. Inhale the hands down, forward and up, raise up like an arrow. And then exhale, hands to the heart and come forward and down to Uttanasana. Inhale, glide your heart forward. Exhale, place your hands, come over your toes, touch the knees, bow the head. Inhale to your arrow position. Exhale, come forward and down, touching the sides of the fingers to the floor. Then the flat palms. Inhale, cat becomes cow. Now the knees can be hip distance apart. Exhale, inchworm pose. Inhale, cobra. Exhale, inchworm. Inhale, cow pose. Now exhale, cat pose becomes child pose. Inhale, raise up to an arrow position. Exhale, prostration. Curl the toes under. Inhale, Uttanasana with the feet together. And exhale for a deeper bow. Inhale, keeping your balance, take the arms forward, root your tailbone down, rise up to your arrow position. And exhale, hands to your heart. Again, inhale, raising up. Exhale, hands to the heart, the feet are together, come down to Uttanasana. Inhale, glide forward. Place your hands, come over the toes, touch down. Inhale, arrow position. Exhale, forward, stretch out. Use the lower belly to come down slowly. Inhale, cat becomes cow. Exhale, inchworm. Inhale, cobra. Exhale, inchworm. Inhale, cow pose. Exhale, downward facing dog pose. Inhale to plank. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, cobra pose. Exhale, inchworm. Inhale, cow pose. Exhale, cat pose becomes child's pose. This time, inhale, slide your hands back, roll up to kneeling, place your hands behind you. And then exhale, arms forward. Inhale, arrow position. And exhale, pranam. Inhale, Uttanasana with the legs. Exhale for a deep bow. Inhale, rise up. And exhale, hands to the heart. Step to the front of your mat for Surya Namskar. Just one moment, the kittens are hiding behind the elliptical. Let me check and see that all is well here. Hi, you guys. Yeah, you're okay. Yeah. All the fast breathing, if that was a little scary. The fast breathing part's over. You want someplace more comfortable to be? There you go. Yeah, the fast breathing is over. I know that was a little scary. That wasn't your favorite part of class? Yeah, it's okay. Okay, to the front of the mat, please. Join your palms together. Let's put the feet together so you have this extra bit of balance to consider. And take the hands down, arrow pose, please tippy toe. And then exhale, hands to the heart, heels to the floor, come forward and down, Uttanasana. Inhale, glide forward through your heart. Exhale, bow towards the legs. Inhale, raise the heart forward, place your fingertips and step backwards with your left toes. Touch the left knee down so your right knee is forward over the toes of your right foot, and inhale, raise up like an arrow. Now keeping the lower body really stable, don't hang into your right hip, please. Inhale, reach up strongly through the arrow of the arms, hook your thumbs, turn your triceps in, broaden the back of your heart. And then exhale, reach this arrow forward over your front leg, touch the floor, and inhale backwards, downward dog pose. Exhale to plank pose. Inhale, broaden the back of the body in plank pose, gaze down between your thumbs. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, cobra pose. Exhale, inchworm pose. Inhale, cow pose. And exhale, downward facing dog pose. Inhale in your dog pose, broaden the back of the waist. When you exhale, step your left foot forward between your hands without stepping on your kitten. Touch your right knee down and rise up, Anjaneyasana. Again, hook the thumbs, keep the lower body stable, and reach up so your arrow has an arc to it, but a deliberate sense of direction. Noticing the stability of the lower body. When you exhale, come forward, just like in that pranam, curl the lower belly in, and then touch the floor. Inhale, step backwards, downward dog pose. Exhale to plank pose. Use the in-breath in plank pose to stabilize your pelvis, lower belly, lower back, mid-back. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, cobra pose. So the lower three chakras and the lower torso should feel stable. We raise up with the heart. And then exhale, cow pose. Inhale, sorry, that was heart bow. Inhale to cow pose. And we'll exhale, reach high and backwards into downward facing dog pose. Breathe in. And then exhale, step forward with one foot, followed by the second foot without stepping on your kitten. Inhale, glide the heart forward. Bring your feet together and exhale, bow over your legs. Inhale, rise up, kitten in hand. And exhale, hands to the heart. How was that? There you go. Okay, we're going to add to the sequence. So inhale, arrow pose, tippy toe. And exhale, heel to the floor, hands to the heart, bow forward, Uttanasana. Inhale, glide forward. Exhale, take the left toes back, left knee down. Anjaneyasana at the base. Inhale, rise up. And using the arms like an arrow, again, reach up, lift your heart, allow the hips to glide forward without hammocking into the right hip joint. Press into your right heel for stability. And then sweep the arms wide. Reach back and interlace your fingers. Roll the shoulders open. Squeeze the arms and shoulders back to support the heart. And then exhale, keeping the lower body stable. Use your lower belly to bring your torso over your right thigh. Touch the floor and inhale, step backwards to downward dog pose. And exhale, come forward to plank pose. Inhale in plank pose, focus on the lower hemisphere of the torso. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, cobra pose. Exhale, inchworm. Inhale, cow pose. Downward facing dog. What do you think about all this? Okay, exhale, left foot forward. Watching out for kittens. Touch the right knee down. Inhale, rise up. Okay, make the lower body really stable. Make it sort of worthy of the upper body's intention. Sweep the arms wide. Open your chest and heart. Clasp your hands. Squeeze the arms back so you're really mobilizing the heart and the shoulder blades. Open your throat. Keep the left heel grounded. And then using your lower belly, raise the torso up, bow over your left thigh. Touch the floor lightly and inhale backwards to downward dog pose. Exhale to plank pose. Inhale, stabilize the lower hemisphere of the torso. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, cobra or seal pose without crushing kittens with your kneecaps. And then exhale, table pose becomes child's pose. Do not sit on the kitten. From pranam, join your palms, rise up to your arrow position. And exhale, hands to the heart and hands to your lap. Let's pause in Vajrasana, thunderbolt pose. So if the lower hemisphere of the torso is stable, clear, less residue, more vitality, then the heart is going to have an easier time accessing those intrinsic qualities that we do value in ourselves. To reach from an unstable foundation is not recommended. So we're going to add to our sequence now. You guys are ready? You want to show the pose? Ekapada. One paw. Okay. Join your hands, please. We'll start from here. Inhale, raise up like an arrow. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, cat becomes cow. Exhale, downward facing dog. Now, keeping your left leg really stable, inhale, raise your right leg straight up behind you. It's called Ekapada Adho Mukha Svanasana. And then exhale, step your right foot forward between your hands. Inhale, rise up to your crescent. In crescent, let's join the thumbs, please, and raise the arrow high. Make the lower body worthy of the respect, the responsibility, the duty of the lower hemisphere of the body. And then raise up through your heart, open your throat, lift your gaze. As you exhale, sweep the arms wide, interlace your fingers at the small of your back. And then exhale and bow your torso over your right leg. And see if you can Resist resting on your right thigh. For some of you, you're going to be able to go right past your thigh, down towards the floor. Raise the arms up behind you so the shoulders squeeze away from the front of the chest. Open the collarbones. Keeping the lower body as stable as you can. Release your fingers to the floor and inhale, step backwards to downward dog pose. And then inhale, raise your left leg high to Ekapada, Adho Mukha Svanasana. And exhale, left foot forward between your hands. Press into your heel and rise up to your crescent lunge. Let's hook the thumbs like an arrow. Raise up, making the lower body worthy of its duty. Notice the breath coming and going. And as you raise up through your heart, sweep the arms wide. Interlace your fingers at the small of your back. Roll the shoulders back. And open your heart and your throat. And now keeping the left hip stable, left hamstring toned, left heel grounded. Come forward over your left leg. And then as you exhale, touch the floor. And inhale backwards to downward dog pose. Okay, let's exhale to plank. Stabilize the lower body as you inhale, broaden the back of your waist. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, cobra, seal, or upward dog pose, whatever you're able to do. I know you're right under my hips. Yeah, you're right there. And then exhale, table pose, and reach back to child's pose. And rise up, arrow pose. And hands to the heart. And then you can do palms to your lap. And drop your attention down into the lower hemisphere of the torso. So visit, we say, the subdiaphragmatic region. Visit below the diaphragm. As we move the body about, one of the benefits is clearing out the residue, encouraging the vitality, opening up to our possibilities, also encountering our limitations, and getting to work with all of that. One of the risks in moving the body like this and generating energy is that what we've been holding that's become stagnant, it gets released, it gets mobilized. And what we were holding that was stagnant or was stagnating, while it holds us back and holds our vitality down, at one time, the ways in which we learned to hold in or down had a purpose. We call those protective mechanisms. So towards any part of you that when you're mobilizing the body, you feel like, oh my goodness, wow, it's like a new frontier. You feel maybe timid or apprehensive, or maybe resistance comes up. You find yourself getting distracted or bored. Those are also ways that we protect ourselves from growing or evolving. So towards any part of you that is having that experience, you can offer this metta or this maitri. Like, May the parts of us that feel restless, may they feel understood. May the parts of us that become distracted, may they feel held by our attention. May the parts of us that become timid, may they feel supported by our intentions. So I'm a big supporter of doing the inner work. You might call this work in the lower chakras. Almost sometimes it's like a deep sea diving expedition. You're going to find out what lives there that hasn't yet been resolved or understood or met. And sometimes the work you're doing in the lower chakras is also called shadow work. It's what we've kept out of sight or out of mind. It was in the dark. And sometimes we refer to it as doing the retroactive healing. You go and you touch something you've been holding for a long time. You've mobilized it. It has a chance to be held in the light of your practice. And there's healing available both in the present and also towards the past where the seeds began. So that's called retroactive healing. So from our hearts, from the fourth chakra, we can use compassion towards the parts of us that are in distress. We can also use loving kindness towards the parts of us that are holding on to that distress or causing the distress, that are keeping it in play. May those parts of us be free from unnecessary suffering. May those parts of us be understood so we don't have to keep repeating the same patterns. Please rise up to standing in Pranayama with the hands stretched out in front. Now, as you walk the hands forward, energize your legs, reach back with your hips and down with your heels. Let's bring the Ujjayi breath in, and we're going to pick up from last week's practice. I'd like you to be really specific about inhaling slowly. And then exhale and curl the lower belly in slowly, slowly. Noticing the exhale at the end has a kind of momentary pause where no more exhale is leaving, but the exhale muscles are still functioning. Then begin your inhale really slowly from there. And do that for 2 more breath cycles, bringing your ultimate patience to the task so you are intimately present with what is happening in the breath and the body. Remember at the beginning of our practice, I said mental concentration is like the pre-intention. Can we really bring our full concentration here? Without concentration, it's very difficult to rise up through the chakras into the Brahmaviharas. We will become detoured or distracted by the dust bunnies, the residue. Detoured or distracted by things like craving and aversion and impulse and reflex. So with full concentration now, walk your hands back to your hips. Rise up to standing, keeping your same distance for your stance. Come to the jazz stance pose. Press out with your hands against your knees, root the tailbone down, broaden the back of your waist. So full concentration as you inhale, filling up the inner body all the way up to the back of the heart and the collarbones. At the top, a slight pause as if you're still inhaling, but no air is coming. Begin the exhale from the base of the spine, moving slowly upwards. Increase the tone. The end of the exhale, as if you're still exhaling, but no air is leaving. Make each transition with the breath as smooth as possible. Now holding the body with stamina and strength. As you next exhale, if you'd like to, you can begin practicing what we're going to call the suction. The exhale pause turns into a suction. So at the end of an exhale, you squeeze the breath out quite completely, and without inhaling, totally relax the exhale muscles. And there'll be an internal suction. Though it's brief, you can experience it, and then you release that before inhaling. When you complete maybe 2 of those, then inhale, rise up to stand. We'll go heel toe into a horse stance. So knees bent, toes pointing out to the side. This is for Uddiyana Bandha. So bring the hands down to your knees. Yeah. Okay, what's going to happen here is that we inhale slowly, keeping the arms straight. The torso hangs down from the shoulders. You exhale completely. At the end of the exhale, you practice that moment of suction. And then while still holding the breath out, you're going to make a pretend inhalation. That'll cause a deeper suction, a vacuuming. That's what we refer to it. And the inner belly goes inward and upwards. So we're raising up to the heart at that point, and the chest should feel like it's pretty full. During the exhale suspension, it's called Uddiyana Bandha. And then you release that without gasping. And you'll inhale. And so please give it a spin, starting with your inhalation. And then your complete exhalation. Into Uddiyana Bandha. Release the bandha before inhaling. You might take a breath cycle in between, or you might go directly to the second and the third. We'll do this 3 times, Uddiyana Bandha 3 times. Uddiyana means flying upwards. So it's carrying us, it's transporting us from the lower chakras upwards towards the heart, and beyond that towards the upper chakras. Uddiyana Bandha is also massaging all of the organs in the abdomen. For when you have that big suction, you are squeezing the inner belly by the vacuum itself. And then it kind of replumps when you release, and the circulation goes back to the organs, and then you do that again. So it is a kind of a squeeze, release, cleansing technique as well. When you complete 3 times, then rise up to mountain pose. Let your arms relax. Close your eyes and try to sense now, how is your body distributing the energy or the prana? How is it being distributed? And what is happening with the mind, the upper chakras, even beyond the heart, right? What's happening there? As you get more comfortable with Uddiyana Bandha, you're going to find that it creates a mental quiet. When you're learning it, that may not be your experience. So I'd like you now to take a chair onto your mat like this. And to have your yoga blocks close by. It's also going to be helpful if you have your blankets near enough by that you can reach them. You don't need them promptly, but you may want them in a little bit. So we're going to lie down with the feet on the front edge of the chair, hips and spine here. Yeah, there you go. So when you come down, watch out for hair clips. Those are painful if you press on them with your head. I know some of you don't have that experience because you're not wearing a hair clip. Okay, when you come down, if you have shorter arms and a longer torso, like me, you're going to reach to the toes of the chair and your hips have to go a little bit under the chair seat. That's okay, it's going to work itself out. Tuck the shoulders under. Put your feet at the front of the chair. Holding onto the toes of the chair, lift your knees so your feet are going to stand on the seat of the chair and your hips are going to go up. Go up part way, and I'll show you what we're going to do with the blocks. You don't have to turn your head to see any of the demonstration. So we're going to go up part way, tuck the shoulders under. Sorry, my chair is noisy. Reach for the first block, place it on the flat setting underneath where your pelvis is going to be. Take the second block, place it on the flat setting. Then place your sacrum on the high under. Adjust your clothing as needed. So if you reach now to hold the toes of the chair, you have a very strong supported combination pose between bridge pose and candlestick pose. And then take the legs up to candlestick. Gaze towards your heart and let your breathing and your mind slow down. Let's keep the shoulders very strong. They are a part of the pose. What's happening here is you have created Jalandhara Bandha in the throat. You have a passive experience of the lower abdomen moving towards the heart because of gravity, but we have a dynamic experience of the throat, the bandha in the throat. As you gaze towards the heart, actively press your shoulders down. Don't leave that just to gravity. I find that holding the toes of the chair is actually helpful because it organizes from your hands to your shoulders. You can also imagine that you're slightly pulling the hands apart as you hold the toes of the chair, and that may further strengthen your shoulders. And then please bend the knees, place your feet firmly on the chair, a little bit wider than hip distance, and raise your hips up so it becomes a high bridge pose. Keep the shoulders very strong. Glide your hips down while keeping the chest open, shoulders still anchored, and take the legs back up to candlestick pose. So in the high bridge pose, you temporarily could feel an increase in the throat bandha. The legs are not totally vertical there, so we don't get the same circulation response, which is why we come back to candlestick pose. Try to keep the revival of the shoulders available in your pose. And then touch your feet down to the top of the seat of the chair, excuse me. Lift your hips and take one block in each hand. Place the blocks flat on the floor next to each other, making a little triangle into which you're going to be nestling your sacrum. So the triangle goes on the sides of the sacrum. And then you can tip the chair to support your knees and feet. And let the sacrum rest into that little triangle, the little diamond shape you made with the blocks. Let the sacrum rest down between those two edges of the blocks. Close your eyes. Allow the sacrum to get heavy. Imagine that there's like a tranquil river moving from the second chakra, the water element, and it's flowing towards the heart. And then towards the throat. And then the sixth chakra and beyond. Now you could keep yourself on these two blocks for Shavasana, or you could trade those blocks up for your blankets. You could put a stack of two blankets underneath where the pelvis is right now. So each blanket folded something like this, perhaps. Or you can take those two blankets and cover to your liking. So the choice to keep the blocks under the sacrum means that you do have the sacrum nestled down, it's resting. You're not trying to keep your spine in any sort of back bend. It'll feel to you, excuse me, like the sacrum is levitating. And then the vertebrae, the lumbar vertebrae, they also relax down. And then the mid back, and of course the upper back is completely on the floor. With your eyes closed and gazing inward and downward, let's give some loving attention to the second chakra, which is the place where those sort of deposits are made, where the residue becomes stagnant, frozen. And let's just give some loving attention down to the second chakra. All of the accumulation, the habits and the history represent unmet needs. Unmet needs. So no need to have any ferociousness towards this process. The unmet needs were vulnerabilities in much earlier life that couldn't be expressed, so they had to be kind of hidden or organized. So with great tenderness, we gaze towards the second chakra. And you can just use a little light mantra in your Shavasana towards these parts of you that are asking for healing, towards these unmet needs. You can say, may you be free from pain. May you be free from unnecessary pain. May you have ease and harmony. May there be healing and wholeness. So may you be free from unnecessary pain. May you have ease and harmony. May you have wholeness and healing. And reflect on that mantra again, gazing down at the second chakra. May you be free from unnecessary pain. May you have ease and harmony. May you have wholeness and healing. Notice how you allow yourself to rest and give it another minute of going even deeper yet again. This is the integration process. So encourage your mind to be at rest. And by mind, there I mean your chattering mind. Let that be at rest. And whether your knees are on the edge of the chair or elsewhere, start bending your knees towards your chest. And whether you're on blankets or blocks for your hips, let the knees come in towards the chest. If you're on blankets, you can then easily roll to the side. If you're on blocks, lift the hips, touch the blocks aside. And then roll to your side. And find a seat for a couple of minutes together. When you come to your seat, make it comfortable according to your own body. Rest your hands in your lap. Don't let the mind go off into the day. You keep your mind present to where you are, sensing with full concentration what has transpired in the inner body. Where do you find yourself now inside? Notice how prana is distributed and any access you have to the heart or the upper chakras beyond there too. Sometimes from the level of the unmet needs, so down in the second chakra, it'll seem to us that the practice of loving kindness would be unwise or undeserving towards somebody else. From the perspective of the heart, loving kindness is to free our hearts. From the perspective of the sixth chakra, we have a much more clairvoyant view. You can see that the practice of loving kindness takes nothing away from the unmet needs in the second chakra. In fact, it's nourishing. And the practice of loving kindness causes an expansion of the heart. We also can see through the sixth chakra, loving kindness even towards those who are causing harm. If they were free from pain, if they were not mired in suffering, they would cause less harm. Please raise your hands to your heart. Thank you very much, everyone. Thank you for being here. Namaste. And I have a few minutes for questions or comments. I just want to shift off of Facebook Live so that we have our conversation to ourselves. Thank you. I can see your chats there.